Morning. So before I start this video, just let me make a couple quick points. Number one, I'm not going to do an unboxing video. I hate unboxing videos. I think they're the most boring things in the world. Number two, I'm not going to go into extreme detail about installation and setup and all the features and the programming because the manufacturer's YouTube channel has fantastic videos on all that. There's no reason for me to redo that. What I want to do today is I want to do more of a practical application and show you how I use these cameras because I have a ton of them. Next, the question is going to come up on cellular about what SIM card. It does not come with a SIM card. So all you do is you pick up a phone and you call T-Mobile. That's who I use. There's a couple different carriers, but I use T-Mobile, and you say I need a data-only SIM card for a security camera. It runs about 10 or 20 bucks a month for the SIM card, and I have had flawless. I have horrible AT&T out here. Verizon's horrible. The T-Mobile has never failed me. I just want to let you know that. So before I get into it, those questions are going to come up and I don't really cover that, but I'm going to cover several different models. So here we go. I'm going to do a video today on what I think is probably one of the best security cameras on the market today. And I'm going to go over a couple of real important points before we begin this. So here we go. Dealing with security cameras is a real personal kind of thing to me because it's about your home safety. It's about your family safety. And I'm not just going to go out and endorse a product because someone sends me a product. We don't take free product. That's one of my rules. I don't do sponsored videos and I don't take free product. Now, I will say that they sent me one upgraded camera to test out. So I went ahead and tested that one out, but I have purchased almost all these cameras myself. Over a 2-year period, I have purchased 7 of these cameras and I have put them to the test. And so I'll go over today. I'm going to show you different locations where I have these cameras on my phone and around the property. And I'm going to show you the features. It gets pretty complex, so you have to slow down, and I have to go over some of these details with you and explain why. Next, Blink cameras. I have Blink systems. I did a video where I think I'm one of the top Blink users in the country. Between my businesses and the other houses and my family members, I think I've had 6 different systems for Blink, and on each system up to 9 cameras on each system. I like my Blink cameras and I still have them. I have them all around here. But there is a problem with the Blink, and that is that it's a stagnant camera. Now, it's less expensive because what you can do is you can order a 6-pack and you can put 6 cameras all around your house. But the flaw in those is that they're stagnant. They just sort of sit there and you can't move them around. And that's the beauty of these cameras. The other thing, next point, is there's a couple versions of this. You can go Wi-Fi, you can go cellular. So you can use either. So if you have a good Wi-Fi system around your house, put up a Wi-Fi camera. I have several of those Wi-Fis and I'll show you those, but cellular is the other option. So I can take this camera, I can put it way back in those woods if I wanted to, or I can put it up in a mountain house if I have a vacation home somewhere. And lastly, what I'll do is I will build in the description below, there is going to be one link instead of linking to all these different models. On that link will take you over to our website. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put each one of these varying models in the description so you can decide which one you want, whether you want a tracking one or a more stationary, if you want artificial intelligence, if you want Wi-Fi, if you want cellular. So I'll break it out and I'll put it all on one page for you. All right, so we're talking about cameras. Before I get into the details, let me just give you a perfect example. This is one of the cellular AI tracking dual lens cameras. And so what I can do at night is I can position this over here on the chicken house and it'll watch for animals outside, and it will turn a spotlight on and it'll sound a siren. You can use a siren or you can record your own message. So if there's motion out here, I can record a message that says, hey, go away, hey, go away. Or you can just turn a siren on. Normally, I have that camera pointed up this way. And what it does is it watches this long, I have an 800-foot gravel driveway. And I always know when UPS is coming because I get an alert on my phone. It says vehicle detected at Badass. I call that camera Badass. I have to come up with names. So that one's called Badass. And anytime I have a vehicle, it lets me know. If a person comes walking through here, it'll say person detected at Badass. If it's an animal at night, I have hundreds of deer come through here. So if I wanted to, it'll track the deer as it goes through. Now this is an automatic tracking camera. So once it identifies what you tell it to identify, it'll start recording and it'll follow that. It'll follow it until it goes out of the parameter that you set. It'll then record that video, and you can download the video or you can just leave it on the SD card. If there's something important, I immediately download it. And you can use, they have two on these. There's two modes. I think it's called clear and fluent. It's really high and low. So if you want a high quality like 2K video, you can leave it on high. I typically leave these on low, especially on the cellular. It just uses less data because you have data cards inside there. I always keep it on low. Now, if you want to download the high-res version, you can download the high-res version, even though it's set to low standard. But I always keep my cameras on low, just because it's super, super clear anyway. So, again, if someone comes in anywhere in this area, it'll follow them and track them. Matter of fact, I had to shut this off because the other day my alarm was going off because I had it set to the alarm. Now, inside the coop, I have two other cameras. Inside the chicken house, I have an older version of this, which is a Wi-Fi non-trackable, but it is movable. I'll show you a picture. So what I can do is I can actually bring up inside that coop and make sure all the chickens are inside the coop and roosting because they're young. They're still young. The other camera I have, so there's one inside here that allows me to look to see what's going on here, and then down at the end there, I have another one which is Wi-Fi, which is a non-tracking older version, and it allows me to see this whole thing. But again, I can open it up and I can turn around and see whatever I want to see. I don't use those for motion alerts. I just use those to be able to open up just like a blink camera. But the problem with the blink camera that I found is it's stagnant. It's just stationary. It just stays there in one position. And if something is slightly out of view, I can't move it and see it. So that's how I use it up in this area. I have another one at my gate, and my gate camera right now is a non-tracking, my front gate, and it just tells me anytime I have a delivery coming, UPS person, I know when someone's coming in there. At the front of the house, I have an artificial intelligence double lens tracking unit at the front of my house. At the front of my house, when I turn it on, it'll actually track and tell me what's going on, and it's Wi-Fi based. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open up the app on my phone and I'm gonna screen record it as I go through it so you can see. Excuse the mess behind me. We're moving our whole shed around. So let me go ahead and open it up, and I'm gonna show you what my app looks like and some of the features, and then I'll actually bring up some live cameras. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna touch the Rio link. I'm gonna actually go back to the main page. So what you're gonna have is you're going to have on this all your different cameras. And you have to give them a name. Some of my names are stupid. So on the beach, I have a camera on the beach pole. I have beach tree, one on the tree. On the front, that's the front. I have my front gate. I have the chicken, run, and then I have badass, which is the camera out back on the field. So one of the things that's interesting is, let me make a couple quick notes. Distance. With the blink camera, one of the things that I found was your blink cameras not only have to talk to the Wi-Fi, but they also have to talk to the module, and that's the problem. The module doesn't have the distance. So if you have a long mesh network, it doesn't really work. That's why I'm switching over to these cameras. Let me go ahead and pull up the beach pole as an example. Now it's gonna open up and you're gonna see two cameras. You're gonna see a double lens view. Now what I can do is I can touch, there's a little double icon here. And what I can do is I can touch that double icon and it'll actually bring up just the one. So now I'm gonna turn it sideways and I can bring up my function here and I can go ahead and I can move that camera. Now the beach pole, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's the beach house view. The pole is actually the cellular one. In a hurricane event, let me tell you why I have both. In a hurricane event, Wi-Fi and power goes down, but guess what? This one is solar and cellular almost stays up or is up real quickly. So that's just one of them down the beach. This is why I have a redundant. I have the Wi-Fi and the cellular. So now let me bring up the Wi-Fi version of this. All right, so this is a different version. This is the actual Wi-Fi version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll swing it over, and we'll take a look at the grass. How's the grass looking? Grass is looking pretty good. I'm going to go up. I'm going to pan up. I pan sideways. So now I can take a look at the whole property and say, hey, if anything's going on. It's funny, this morning I got a notification of animal at my driveway, and it was one of my neighbor's chickens. That's pretty funny. So now I want to pull up the front here. I always like to switch over to the singular view. I don't know why. There's the front again. If I bring up my little arrow, I can go ahead and I can zoom over. I'm live right now, and I'm going to zoom over. I'm going to look at the house. Let's bring that down. Let's go ahead and let's bring up the driveway. The driveway is the old camera. I've had this camera for a long, long time. But now, there's my front driveway. So if I get a vehicle, if I get a delivery, this is what I'm actually seeing. I get my notifications. Let's go inside the chicken coop. This is really amazing. This is such a peace of mind. But there's inside the chicken coop. And again, I can move it up and down if I want to. I can move it all around. Let's get out of there. Let's go to the chicken run. Again, you can see that these two cameras are not the dual lens. They're just a single lens. So there's all the chickens. I can look at the chickens and make sure everything's okay. And then let's go to the field. Let's go to Badass. I don't know why I named it Badass. I just did. And again, this is the dual lens. So I'm going to have two pictures showing. Now, if I want to go over, let's say I want to look at my garden. So let's say I've got someone working at the garden. I can go ahead, someone's over here, they're helping me with the garden today, and I just want to see what's going on. I can take a look at the garden. Oh, we're way on vacation, what's it look like? If I want to pull up the chicken house and I want to make sure everything's fine at the chicken house, I can actually just roll over, I can pan over. Now I can see the chicken house. Now let's talk about some of the settings on here. So let's go down, and what you do is I'm going to go here and I'm just going to touch on the gear icon, and it's going to pull up. So you have all kinds of different settings in here. You have the audio. If you want to turn on a spotlight, you can turn on a spotlight. You can just use infrared settings. The motion sensor, if you want to turn your motion sensor on or off, you can turn it on or off. It's off. Detection alarm. Here's your detection alarm. You have a schedule. If you want to do a schedule, you can actually do a schedule. Bring up a schedule. Tracking type. What do you want? Do you want a person, vehicle, animal? I want all three. Horizontal tracking range. So if you want to limit the tracking range left and right, then you can limit it. Let's see what else. Duration. So if you want to change the duration, you can go 10. If the object stops, how many seconds do you want to record? So you have pretty much a complete flexibility of this thing. You have total control of almost every setting inside of here. It really is a fantastic system. And like I said, I've tested these for over 2 years and I have all those cameras active. Like I said, I will build a page down below and I will link several different versions. If you want the AI version, one thing I do recommend is I recommend that whatever cameras you get the solar panel. Make sure it has the solar panel with it. That is so nice. You never have to worry about batteries, never have to worry about hard wiring. It's 24 hours a day. Now I have a camera up here on a tree that's kind of shaded. It never runs out of electricity. It never runs out of power. They power up and they charge within maybe 2 or 3 hours, and that's all it needs for the next couple of days. Beach house, same thing. I've never had an issue. I have all of the versions are solar. Up in the chicken run, I actually run the wire out up on the roof. I have my solar panel up on the roof, and then we'll run the wire down. The cameras are inside. That's how those function. These do not need to talk to a system like a Blink, like I said. So if you have a mesh network that reaches a far distance, that's why I went with these up here. Cellular, Wi-Fi, you make the choice. I'll list them all below. I hope this has helped. Doc.